Hola! ¿Cómo estás? Today we are, we got an interesting album. It's from a foreign country. You can probably guess which country based upon the language that I'm speaking. Or maybe not. I probably should have said, Allo, comment allez-vous? Which, of course, is the language of Canada. Kinda. Not really. Who knows this guy? Gowan. No, it's not Gowan. It's Gowan. And, of course, Gowan is a treasured Canadian performer. Lawrence Gowan is the full name. And he recorded under the name Gowan. Now, I've had the pleasure of interviewing him twice over the years. And not necessarily about his solo work, but we did talk about it. But for those of you that don't know, Lawrence Gowan is the guy that took over for Dennis DeYoung in Styx. And Lawrence definitely has a different vocal style than Dennis, but he does a great job on the Dennis DeYoung material. And he's a heck of a performer. But before he was in Styx, he was in this project called Gowan. And, of course, he still is, because even though he's in Styx, doesn't mean he's just not a solo performer anymore. Of all of his albums, though, I think this is probably the most famous, maybe more so in Canada than in the United States. Now, Strange Animal, of course, we're listening to the title track right now. And there's Lawrence right now looking all serious. Just some great stuff on here. And probably my favorite cut is, of course, the cut entitled A Criminal Mind. And it'll be coming up in the background before we go. And it's one of those songs, actually, that during Styx concerts, when they're near Canada or even performing in Canada, they'll have Gowan perform that. And living so close to the border, I've been fortunate enough to grow up listening to a guy named stuff like Gowan, you know? Now, you might go, well, Tom, did you just hear of Gowan because he was in Styx? Because many of you know, although many of you don't, that I was originally a Styx fan. I mean, I'm still a Styx fan. Been a Styx fan for years. And actually, no, I have a friend of mine named Dana Joy who it's unlikely that he's watching. But that's okay. But he's the one that introduced me to Gowan. And I was like, wow, this is some pretty cool stuff. And, his solo work, it's interesting. I think if you are a Styx fan, you may or may not like Gowan. It doesn't really matter. But his solo work, certainly, if you're a fan of Canadian music, which I am, you'll love it as well. So I was actually a Gowan fan before he was in Styx. So when he joined Styx, I was kind of like, hey, this works for me. I like this guy. I didn't feel like I was, being unloyal to Dennis DeYoung, because I love Dennis DeYoung too. And I love Dennis's solo work. And, the great thing is that you can love Gowan and love Dennis, and it's okay. Like, you're not going to get in any trouble. You don't have to pick sides. You can own both of their albums. But, again, if you're going to own a Gowan album, this is where I would suggest that you start. And good stuff. I think this came out in, trying to look, I don't know. This says that it came out it says it 1984. I don't know if that's possible. The bifocals need to be checked. But I do know that, Gowan, being that he was such a popular performer in Canada, that's how he wound up being in Styx, because he was performing his solo set before a Styx show. And, I don't know, man. Love this guy's vocal style. If you ever get a chance to meet him in person, he is super personable. He's like the epitome of a Canadian, in the sense that he's just very nice, very easy to talk to. And, you know what? And he makes some great music. So, Gowan, Strange Animal. If you own it, put something in the comments. If you don't, consider picking this one up. Doesn't necessarily have to be on vinyl, but I know here in Western New York, being near the Canadian border, we get to see copies of this every now and then, and I'm proud to say that I own one. With that being said, I'll see you next Tuesday.